So it's funny because they try to kind of confuse you and distract you and try to change subject because I'm about to talk about the psyops, right? As a target individual, you are forced to see things in this nonsensical way, and to distract me right before I made this video, they try to talk about some degrading, but not really degrading, kind of stupid. Because, as you can see, obviously, by the little you've seen of me, you know that I'm a black person, right? And sometimes what they do is like, oh, do you prefer dating white woman versus black woman or black woman? Like things that's kind of degrading, but not really, because if that was true, then it'll be up to me. I shouldn't have like to answer to that, but they do these things because it's kind of degrading, because it's not true. I do love black women, white women, whatever, as long as they're good looking, just like like anybody else. But they're like, oh, but you get more excited. It's like, listen, if that was the truth, if that's true, listen, if I have this thing for this kind of race versus this, then that's it. That's my choice. But I'm not going to let you live your fantasy. You're just trying to vilify me. That's what you guys want me to experience, and it's not true. I get as excited as I get toward anybody who's a good-looking woman, as long as regardless of the race. If I've been leaning toward more white women, or leaning toward black women, or leaning toward like this is things to try to just degrade you. We all, I definitely do not have any discriminations when it comes to dating women. I love all beautiful women, and that's that. Now, as I'm saying that, they're like, oh, but black little girls, that's when it comes to when they turn into some disturbing things. That's the things that disturb me. But that's what they do. They do the pedophilia type of torture, and they go into these scripts, right? And it's nasty because the scripts are meant to psyop you, and it's nasty. It's so nasty because the people who are doing the psyop for me are people who want me to see them as this like femme fatale, radical, feminist, women protectors, avengers, everything that's falsified. They use these disturbing tactics to try to make you accept to these things. For example, the black little girls, this nasty pedophilia things they do, but they want me to look at them as this like group of women that have been investigating, and that's true. Black girls is true. Black girls is natural, but the other kids is not natural. Things like that, disgusting things. That is just illogical, disturbing, and pedophilia is just disgusting because you know yourself, right? But my brain is being ravaged and overtaken by these people who can manipulate me to experience every nasty things, and it's disgusting. And right now, this is actually an actual battle. This in my brain is this truly a logic that's been planted for me to accept this nonsensicalness. But this video is specific to psyops, and the psyops is what used to make a target individual accept these things. With me, the psyop, as I said, is consisting of this facade of feminism, of people who are just, they're like radical in their tactics of finding the truth and figuring me out. And in this case, this psyop is a feminist group of people who are matching and mining, analyzing, and finding out that these things that is just me, but they'll match it to me as a child, and these things are just nonsensical. But the worst part is when they try to really sell this psyop, right? And for me, the psyop, especially, like, there's a lot of women who try to play these radical feminist like entities. Some of them even try to be like this like anti-government type of like entity, like involved in those kind of things, when you obviously know this is like that's as governmental as it gets. That's another level of, like, there's government and there's this is another level, right? I mean, we're talking about human experimentation in manipulations of people's mind, controlling them. There's nothing more government than that. And it's obviously these entities, which is ran by the DOD, who have been working on this program. So I have these people who says these things in front of me present themselves, and they want to be clear to say, I work for this all woman healthcare. This is my part-time job, but usually I do this thing for women. And it's like, oh gosh, and they make sure they say that. So I'm like, oh, you see this is a woman who worked for, right? Pure obvious psyop. It's a psyop that is unbelievable. It's so obvious. It's as obvious as it gets. They do this thing systematically that you can, as ravaged as your brain is, you can never get lost in this BS. They say things like where they work, what they do, and then they try to be like, and then they try to show their intellect. Look how rational and logical I am. I'm able to provide this, strategy about this work that I'm doing, this and that. Like, yeah, well, who you think is who's like, you think there's just a bunch of stupid people coming up with this technology and these tactics of manipulations? Of course, everything you see that is extremely sophisticated, to the point that when they try to talk about what they do, is just like a joke. There's people here, kids that could speak in another language, that never been and don't even know anything about that country, that language, but they can speak to me in that language because this technology can provide that. So I understand the reality, and the psyop is, look at us, we're this group of femme fatale radical, we're just daring to be doing this. It's a daring tactic, but we're doing it. This is how they try to present themselves as. Of course I know what this is about, and there's kids involved in this. I'm like, yeah, duh. This is just a typical human experimentation that have been implemented onto people for years and years and years, and have been developing these tactics to break people down. These pedophilia things, black little girls, whatever, little girls, little kids, is what they forced me to experience as an adult man. And go into my memories, and it's like, but remember what you did as a kid? Remember, that's black girl. You see how you react? It's like, what? It's like, no, we match it. We make you feel like the way you were feeling when you were a kid. Oh, not real, not actually. Then they go into my memories. They will try to change the memory, pre-August 19, like not too long before August 19, 2019. And making me experience the stimulation they make me have now. Because the manipulation can consist of memories, implanting sensation stimulation that weren't there and making you experience it today. To make them, this persona thing, just try to make you subscriptive to this nastiness. These people are disgusting. It's foul. And they can use these like arguments, like, we notice that you have preference for white woman versus black woman, so you see this black little girl. And this is an argument in a brain that is so manipulated in these illogical ways. And then they go into the script, they're going to rape you. They'll rape you. They'll torture you. You understand this is a script to make you accept this manipulation. Matter of fact, they just made me say make you accept you. It's a script to make you accept this falsification of reality. Of course, the psyop, the way they present themselves, the way they want you to look at things, the way they're like, no, it's what you're making me experience. It's disgusting. And so once you don't subscribe to that, they're like, oh, they're gonna rape you. Okay, we proved it. Do you not know that I know that you guys are a government entity that is specialized in doing the pedophilia type of torture? Matter of fact, you're gonna hear that after I'm done here. Pedophilia type of torture is part of their tactics to break people down. They literally force people to experience pedophilia type of reactions specifically. And they're like, oh no, but black little girls is true. You'll feel like that. No, okay. You'll feel like that. You used to feel like that. But back when we matched it to you as a kid. Now they're like not even doing that. Now they're just like making me experience it in all my memories. With no shame, huh? Slappy as it gets. And I'm saying that knowing that somebody said that before me. It's all the same things. And then they try to come up with random things like, oh, we've noticed that you like white woman versus black woman, or something like that. Just random. And just, okay. If that's true, okay, I don't care. But I know it's like, me, white, black, whatever, as long as you're a beautiful woman, of course I'll be interested in that. How about dating more white women? Like, what does that, like, these people come up with this disturbing of ways to like connect irrationality. That's how bad it has gone for me. They have no shame. And they really like, you see, you should find us credible because we're saying these things. And so to all my target individual, the Psyops are just that. The Psyop is meant to get you to see them as everything but what they are. What they are is a group of perps, or not even group. They're perps that work for this government human experimentation that rewires the brain in so disturbing ways, so many disturbing ways, and want you to accept these things. Right? They even use children to create these psyops. Like, oh, somebody's thinking that it's a 14-year-old kid doing this. It's nasty. In my brain right now, I'm having a full-on battle of retardation. That's what I call it. Because they're like, oh, but you see, you know, between, you see, we could tell you that you like more white women versus black women. So when we say that about this black girls, that is truly a thing happening in my brain. I have to repeat that because this is truly what they're making me experience. But this is about Psyop. Psyop is to try to get you to accept these things. As I'm saying this thing, there's people making noise campaign. Part of the Psyop. It's part of what they're supposed to present themselves as. They do the peripheral type of torture. They're trying to use the Psyop to cover that up. Oh, now we're different. You pay now for what you did as a kid. No, these people torture children. You're going to listen to that. Not only they torture children, but they make these people experience this peripheral type of torture. They hurt children. They do the peripheral type of torture systematically. They systematically utilize, almost all target individuals are forced to experience some kind of peripheral type of tormenting. You're going to listen to that. You've heard it many times before. They've tortured a lot of women. So when they try to play, no, we're avenging for what you've done to this woman, you know, the sexual torture they've applied to women are so disturbing. Some women literally calls out. There's a lot of women involved in this. So do not accept this persona they want you to accept. Know yourself. And they're going to use illogicalness like, oh, now we proved it because, you know, we noticed that you date more white women than black women. Okay, what? Yes, I've dated more white women than black women, so what if I was like, I only date white women? Do you understand? You have to, like, these people use anything. It's like, no, we proved that, you see. You gotta understand, logic is not there for them. Is about to make you lose yourself and break you down and make you irrational, illogical to accept these pedophilia things. They've been making me experience the most disturbing pedophilia things, and it all started on August 19, 2019. I didn't start dating white women on August 19, 2019. That's, you know what I'm saying? But I started getting these disturbing stimulations on August 19, 2019 when they start manipulating my brain in these ways. Of course. So whatever race of woman I'm dating or have been dating versus who I haven't been dating versus who I'm dating less, what? This is, I know me. I know that this whatever race that is not about that. It's up. I don't care. Say that they only white women. I don't care. It is a dating because you're basically degrading black women. Or make me think that's all. I think black women. Like, no, I'll never go there. But if this black woman dates a more white man, what does it do to me? Good for her. I mean, not good for her, but whatever she wants. But they try to find things to degrade you, and they're like, no, you see, that's why we say the black little girls is true, but little white girls is not true. Oh, look. They do these pedophilia things. It's disgusting, and they try to get you to accept it in any ways possible using the psyops, noise campaign, scripts, saying things over and over. These people who are renowned to be doing pedophilia type of torture, but because the psyop and the technology can really override you, you can forget what you're going to listen to what I'm going to put after this. You're going to listen to the obvious pedophile type of torture. You're going to hear a woman saying that they force these program perversions and aiming toward children. You're going to hear about this woman who smell baby powder and then they do this pedophile type of torture. You're going to listen to this trans woman say they make me try to change who I am, make me think in this pedophilia ways. You're going to listen to almost all target individuals are forced to see child porn in their mind, and they're going to try to gaslight you and create the scripts to block it out. They say, no, black girl, it's you, black girl. To help my target individual, do not let that get to you. The psyop is the psyop. They're not whatever they're presenting themselves as. They're not this satanical group of people. They're not this cult of people. They're not this radical, socialist, feminist, progressive, woman protector, children protector. They're not that. They're the opposite of that. That's what they force you to think and condition your brain to think about these ways. Toward black girls, white little girls, black little girls, babies, all that, little boys, little whatever. That's what they do. And those repetitions are meant to condition, not even condition you, but to confuse you too, to disorient you. And they're like, oh no, we proved it. The people can torture you. We proved it. Oh, you proved that you don't do the pedophilia type of torture. Is that what you're saying? I don't know. That's not okay. Okay. Yeah. You proved that you don't manipulate people to think in these pedophilia ways. Okay, no. Oh no, you matched it. Okay. You matched it to me at some point when I was a kid. Okay. So you have to match things up, and then you start thinking like that. Okay. So you don't do the pedophilia type of torture like most people are saying, but you're saying that you've matched it to some point at me when I was a kid or whenever you're trying to create this in my memories. Okay. And it all started in August 19, 2019. Okay. And so almost all target individuals is just almost, I'm the exception. And you guys are also a group of people who protect women, but you're just radical. So all my target individuals, it's obvious. They force you to experience these disgusting things, regardless of the different degradation tactics they try to make you to try to vilify you. We'll talk about you demo black woman or black white woman or the stupidity they do. It's like, you see, we know these things. So see the perfect type of torture, we matched it. And truly make you feel the stimulations of like what they make you experience. And it's like, remember when you were a kid, you experienced that? It's disgusting. But my brain is more and more fragilized and forced to think in these ways. I can't do nothing about that, I understand. But I can never identify with this, because I've been saying it for a long time now. 3 years of saying things over and over, even more. And today I'm gonna continuously say these things. I want these people that are supposed to gaslight me, that are supposed to create these scripts to disorient me, to dumb themselves down as they contracted to do. They even used to say we're at war. It's our project. No, you're not at war. You do the things systematically, and you're gonna hear the same things that you've been doing to people. To all my target individuals, stay strong. Because these lowlifes that work for these entities that happen to have a bunch of pedophiles, actual pedophiles, not this stupidity of rationality and manipulation they force people to experience. Those entities really in charge. Is their money, is their system, is their tactics. These people are the people in charge, the people really coming up with these tactics. These entities are filled with pedophiles. It's not these dumb things that, no, we match it to you and then to manipulate you, train your brain. It's like, no, we match it. To all my target visuals, stay strong and know that justice will be done, because you understand these people are this foul. And you go, I'm never going to let them escape. Never.
First was with my dog. I am very playful with my pet, and suddenly one day that I was petting him I felt strange, in the sense of the word. I thought, this is strange, and then afterwards that strange sensation continued. Then in that moment I realized that was impost, so I thought, look at this losers, don't know how to put me down, and they are doing this. So I told them that I know what you are trying to do, and I started laughing, and then I said again out loud, You'll never take my will, ASS, so just to show them that I meant what I said, I kept playing with my dog, and even though that attacks continue, I don't let them get me. Today they continue with the programming of perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use. A people, better said young people, also children and homosexual.
They'll say, hey, massive government, that people will believe something other than a massive government could do the V2K. So they'll say, we're the Russian government, we're the Chinese government, we're evil aliens, we're Satan's, satanic ritual abuse. And I've heard all these stories. One guy believed it was some 14-year-old kid with an Xbox that lived next door. The trickery really is that great when you're under hypnosis that people will believe something other than a massive government could do this.
The courage to do the same thing and show our Defense Department we are not the enemy. We are not to be attacked. We are not terrorists. Most of us are defenseless women.
Then a couple of days later, a female said the same thing. Don't get shot in the face. Stupid shit like that. But what I really noticed is with the Voice of Skull, it's a bunch of females. And I'm like, bro, really?
Of all of my clients. I eventually had to tell this client to go to another clinic. And they used her to threaten the most torture in me as well as their most extreme forms of torture. For several months, she would cry and scream horribly during our therapy sessions despite having a great day at school. This was highly unusual behavior for her, as she usually behaved very well during her therapy sessions and had been making incredible progress on all of her therapy goals. This was used to threaten extreme torture on me, making me scream and cry, etc. They would make the kids act out the kinds of torture that would later be done on me. For example, they would also sometimes make her bite her hand, threatening to make me bite my hands, as they often do. One day, she had a large, severe bite mark on her arm. She has also grabbed her crotch, saying, ow, and this was used to threaten me with severe sexual torture. One day, I also observed her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, then I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, every day, for about 2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. Then I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister, who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, ow.
He was simply fired. One employee purchased sexually explicit videos of young girls filmed by their mothers. He resigned. One employee estimated that he had viewed up to 1,400 sexually abusive images of children while on agency assignments. Not sure what actions, if any, were taken by him. One contractor arranged for sex with an undercover FBI agent. I think that you mentioned that. Posing as a child, he had his contract revoked. One CIA staffer was charged with child sexual crimes, and the employee was also under investigation for mishandling classified material. The CIA did not answer detailed questions, saying only that the agency takes all allegations of possible criminal misconduct committed by personnel seriously. So you're saying the reason why they didn't take this more seriously, why there weren't actual prosecutions, that were carried out is because knowledge that dozens of Pentagon staff members or contractors had such images. In 2014, the Inspector General of the Intelligence Community found that 2 officials from the National Reconnaissance Office, which oversees America's spy satellites, acknowledged viewing images of child sexual abuse during polygraph examinations. This is so disturbing. At a symposium in 2016, Daniel Payne, a top Pentagon security official, said that when workers' computers were examined, the amount of child porn I see is just unbelievable. Is this something that is happening for whatever reason with more frequency in our intelligence agencies, or is this something that is more pervasive in the general population than I originally realized? I mean, what's going on here? This is so bizarre. Remember, it's so evil.
Allie, we're told, and when I was put through recruitment into the intel community, you're put through polygraphs, you're put through a rigorous selection process. Why aren't these people weeded out? Why are so many pedophiles allowed to be given top-level security clearance? Remember, these aren't just people walking in off the street and saying, hey, can I get hired? Can I get a job? You're put through an extremely rigorous background check screening process. It's called an SSBI, single scope background investigation. There are people, they interview you, they interview your family, they interview your contacts, they go through your online footprint, they go through everything. So why is it that when they're going through these footprints, they're not checking, these digital footprints, they're not checking for so many pedophiles getting through their ranks? If it were up to me, you need to go into Congress, and Congress needs to launch a brand new church committee, number one, to talk about domestic surveillance operations, but number two, to ask the question, why are there so many pedophiles sitting behind those computer screens within the walls of Langley, within the Pentagon, and throughout the broader intelligence community?
No, but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do it. I don't care. It is dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophilia. This disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice.
Or killed. This is a common breakdown. Techniques are more psychologically specialized for each target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds.
Diaper or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted dreams. Highly disturbing pornographic images and videos, including highly disturbing pedophilia type of images and videos when I close my eyes. It also noises and music directly into my mind to communicate with me in real time and at the speed of thought. And it also includes the manipulation of thoughts, emotions, and perceptions in the person's mind. Additionally, the targeting is all highly perverted and sexual, as well as destructive and violent. Recently, they even started adding moaning noises and music directly into my mind to communicate with me in real time and at the speed of thought. And it also includes the manipulation of thoughts, emotions, and perceptions in the person's mind. Additionally, the targeting is all highly perverted and sexual, as well as destructive and violent. Recently, they even started adding moaning